Such a True Believers England team here. And, oh, wait, do I have my paper? I got my paper. All right. And another night of comic book cover rankings. This time we're doing Bronze Age DC. Eric and I and RDV went through and we picked out what we believe are 15 comic book covers that are just well representing of Bronze Age all over the map. Whether we got some superheroes, some horror, we've got a couple of, I think we got a couple of sword and sorcery, or at least one sword and sorcery. And we did try to keep the Jack Kirby down to a minimum. Because otherwise, I mean, straight up, Demon, New Gods, Forever People, what else? Mr. Miracle, you know, all sorts of stuff. Jack Kirby was all over DC during the Bronze Age.
Mandy, OMAC.
Exactly. But we did include a few because it is Jack Kirby, right? So I'm excited about this one. I really am. Now, of course, the feelers have been sent out. The invitations have been sent out to the Lester sisters, RDV, everybody. So they are welcome in. One thing, absolutely, your vote counts. So while we're doing this on the panel, let me know what you think about the comic book covers as we go through in the chat, and everything will be added up. And now that it's not a gajillion degrees in here, I'm going to sit down and make some videos. That has been a big deterrent for me being by the computer in the daytime. So there you go. All righty. We are not talking to ourselves, are we? Because I'm seeing 0 on the...
Rhaegar Maranya here, but I would suggest we stall for a few moments to let people trickle.
That is absolutely fine with me.
And here comes one now.
Okay, well, hello to Dark Admiral March Hare. Yeah, I am A-okay with just chilling for a little bit. I'm in a good mood, but I just woke up. Seriously, so a little bit out of it, but in a good way. Yeah, took the family out and ended up coming home in a food coma. Zonked right out. But what you gonna do? Have you ever have you ever read? I just found this. It was one of the, I forgot I had it. If it actually clears up, yeah. Yeah, Predator's Smile, Daredevil's first novel. I have this I bought. I never read. I mean, look at that. That is a perfect spine. Huh. Maybe it's time for your geeky bedtime stories. And even one that I do remember. I bought this for my daughter. Yeah, there you go. Okay, she's a big Assassin's Creed fan. But I know I've got like a Batman book around here and the Resident Evils, the whole 9 yards. So, you know, looking forward. That being said, tomorrow, if this is successful, tomorrow we're going to do the Marvel Bronze Age, Marvel #1s. If you think you know of a cover or something, let me know. I'll put that on the list and try to drag that up. We've already got 2, which is locked in. And that's Conan, the first issue of Conan and the Tomb of Dracula. So, yeah.
There is the Tim Lim book, Deadly Hands of Kung Fu.
Of course, yeah. Any book that stars Tim Lim has got to go in there, man. Seriously, 100%.
There's Iron Fist and much to Zack's dismay, there's Power Man.
Yeah.
No. So
it doesn't get good until issue number 47.
Yeah. There's Miss Marvel.
Yeah. So Eric, how did you enjoy Alcatraz?
Alcatraz.
Yeah.
Please elucidate.
Oh, you didn't see the little screenshot from a certain comic book that I posted in the chat today?
I did not.
Oh. Your little cameo in a volume 9.
Oh yeah, well that was out a year ago. Originally, because we talked about that a while back when, when Tim said he put him in there.
Yeah, so I mean because the campaign ended a week or 2 ago, so the PDFs were going out to all the campaign supporters, I think yesterday. So the reviews are starting to come in for Volume 9. So yeah, paging through there. They did a pretty good job of depicting Alcatraz, except for no birds or gulls flying around or flocks of gnats everywhere. That was one of the nastiest things I've ever experienced.
So you toured it?
Well, I went to Alcatraz around the when was that? It was like, I want to say it was like around August, September.
Well,
and they even warned us about going on the boat, basically saying, yeah, we want to just warn you because it's the time of year. And so basically there's just, thousands of gnats swarming around and there's not really much you can do about it. So have fun. And I mean, they were just everywhere.
All right. Well, it looks like our attempt to stall and get a larger crowd is working in the opposite direction. I'm seeing we're getting people dropping off. So we just have to. I think we'll have to just move on and start it up. And if people want to join in, they can. Otherwise, it will just be the panel talking about with whomever is left. But I have noticed we actually dropped 5 people while we're talking and waiting for people to get in here. So, whoops. That being said, all right, let's get this thing going. Eric, you're going to start us off. And first up, we have Black Lightning #1.
I am going to give this a 10.
All right.
It's simple, but it's an action shot to begin a series and not just a pose. With all due respect to the Power Man #1 that came before, which did have good background stuff, which is why I want to see it tomorrow. I like it. He's just thrown a backhand punch. He's already taken out a couple other thugs. You can see the city in the background through the window. The breaking glass. I like it. I like it a lot.
All righty. How about you, LK?
Yeah, well, first off, don't forget to share out the tier screen if you want to do that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's overall, I mean, it's a good cover. I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay. How about you, Evil Black Cat?
I'm giving this a 9.
Okay.
Like Breen said, it is a good cover, but the words are just cluttering up some of the background.
The Thundering Origin issue, or is it the You Pushers have wrecked the city long enough? Now it's my turn to wreck you.
That's okay. The top of it is the DC logo, the 30 cents, the comic code, DC's boldest, Black Lightning, all that is taking up the upper space. So
okay, I see.
Running it a bit. All
right. Well, first, I do like the logo. However, it does almost look like 2 different logos are put in there. Like they were, hey, let's make it black and red, and then like lightning was a different idea. Like they just put 2 together and hope they fit. I do like the action shot. I think it's pretty good. First, I swear to gosh, first time I saw it though, I thought he was in a wrestling ring. Because of the way the wood, he's hitting the guy into a window. But he is actually, the comic cover frame is a window, and he's knocking that guy out of it, which I think is a very clever idea. I'm going to give this one a 9 as well. All right, let's move over to the chat. We've got Glenzer saying it's a 9, and okay, and we've got Dark Admiral saying it's a 9. For me, my only complaint is the title being too big, mirroring what Black Cat's saying. And Rhaegar is saying it would be an 8, but I'm giving it a 9 because Black Lightning is beating up Zack, probably because he dropped a gamer word. All right. There we go. Okay. Not a lot of votes starting off, but what we got is 2 8s, 3 9s, and a 10. And I think it kind of pulls right in the middle, and it ends up being a 9.
Yeah, and yeah, it's a
Go ahead.
Jackson just jumped in at the last second here with the 7.
It's okay. I mean, we can take late.
And there's Maranya.
Here we
She
go.
says trade dress can be a bit smaller to give the dynamic action more room to show off. She gives it a solid 8.
All righty.
You got to remember, though, this is still the spinner rack era when books weren't alphabetized and had to stand out by the title. So you're going to see that a lot tonight.
There you go. All righty. Now, though, it's a different story. We got 1 7 and 1 10, and then we've got 3 8s, 3 9s. So it goes from a 9 to an 8. All righty. But that is baseball. Where'd it go? Here it is. All righty. Let me size this thing down so I can work and see the chat at the same time.
No,
and for those of you...
Rhaegar, save your money. It'll be on the discount rack in a year.
Alrighty. Still a very good cover. We'll go on over to LK, and you can start us off with this one.
Okay. The meaning of Tina's last phone call. I kind of guess what they're going for. Less a comic book cover and more of like a cover that you would see on a trashy dime store novel.
Yeah, this is very much... Actually, by the way, this is the first comic book to use the phrase graphic novel.
Yeah, I mean, that said, it's really... Parts of it are either sketchy or 5.
Oh, you're in the head. All right. All righty. Black Cat.
5.
You guys are smoking the same. All right.
It's basically, the background's good, but it looks less like a comic book cover, more like a bookstore. Something I'd see if I walked into the used bookstore.
That's what they're going for, though. So that's a successful cover.
Yeah, but that's a bad marketing trick. It's like trying to sell a Spider-Woman book instead of it being about action. It's just her showing her muscles while pregnant. Oh wait, they did that.
It's a romance book. It's a gothic romance book. All righty. There you go. All right. Yeah, I got your scores there, Maranya. Okie doke. So Eric.
Well, add these two plebes votes together, and you got mine.
Alrighty.
Now again, when this was published, DC had a thriving romance line still. They were trying to tap into that audience. I love the background of this. I can't decide if the man. It looks like the mansion's on fire. You burning to the ground, and you got Barnabas Collins there behind Josette there. And it just I've always loved this cover. So
yes, me too. As a matter of fact, this is a book that I bought because of the cover. It's one of my wall books because of the cover. I love this thing. Absolutely, the shadows, the fire illuminating everything. It's just amazing. The colors. It's an excellent painted cover. One of my favorite. Now, granted, you could say The Secret of the Missing Bride and the letters right there, they take up some real estate, but otherwise, no, absolutely perfect. This is a 10 from me. All right, so Glenzer gives it a 7, and let's see, moving on. Hey all, hello to MK, and I will say 9 out of 10 has dark tone and reminds me of Wednesday for some reason. Alrighty, we got a 9 from MK. Dark Admiral, 10 for me. Love painted covers. Plus, I always love the crazy covers of the fantasy novels my uncle would read, and that's kind of what they're going for. And so we've got our third 10. And Forbidden Love #1, horror plus romance, black cover and figures against fire used effectively sells the theme. This is a solid Forbidden 10 from MARANYA. 7, not great, but groundbreaking cover for a comic pulpy dime store novel. And it's a 7 from Jackson Raykirk and an 8 from Rhaegar, saying spooky and dark. Alrighty, and wow, we got 2 guys who you just didn't get it.
No, we got
no, dude. I said that as a joke. I said that as a joke because I hate it. I hate it when somebody doesn't like something and someone else goes, "You just didn't get it." I said that completely as a joke. Don't.
I mean, there's just no detail on the main figure. Maybe it's the scan, but I mean,
I think
it looks as bad as if you've ever seen that the news story where somebody tried to restore some like 1800s painting and made it look like stick figures. I mean, that's that front cover.
She's got a ghostly shape to her. It's almost as if she's coming out of the shadow. And if you look at the original cover, actually, I've got it around the corner here. This is a pretty good representation here. And that's one of the things. She is a ghostly figure. But hey, you know, some people resonate, some things resonate with some people and they don't with others. Comic Book Frog gave it a 7, kind of like people just don't get Joel Schumacher's Batman and Robin. That thing was awesome. Tom will tell on that.
I mean, the movie that one of the rare movies I almost walked out of because it was so terrible.
Oh my gosh. I remember I went to my friend who told me it was so great. And I said, yeah, I'm going tonight. No, that was a piece of shit. It was so bad. I watched that movie for a while. I watched it just because, like, when I got it on DVD and VHS, and I just kept watching it because I couldn't believe anybody would make a Batman movie that bad. Even though I saw a Superman movie that bad not 10 years before. Alrighty, so here's what we've got. We got 4 10s. However, 3, we got 2 5s. It skips over that 6, and then you get to the 7s. The 10s are gone. And that 7 eats up the 9, and it goes to an 8, ladies and gentlemen.
Batman and Robin works if you pretend it's like a sequel to the Adam West stuff, and
that's how I can watch it now. I just think, you know what, they were because he even said, you know, he's a director of age that grew up with a 66. He was making the 66 Batman. Alrighty, so I believe it is Evil Black Cat's turn to start us off with Firestorm number 1.
Firestorm number 1. I'll give this a 7.
Alrighty.
The main character is good. You can't pretty much tell what's happening in the background, and this might be a theme for the night, but again, and Breen said maybe it's a theme for the year, but the cover is way too cluttered for me to enjoy.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. How about you? Oh, go on ahead.
Yeah, because when I see a cover and like whether I want this book or not, the first thing I want to see is the art. And the more there's writing on covers, the less appealing it is for me.
Okay. Okay. How about you, Eric?
I'm going to go 7 also. I don't know why they use negative imaging behind him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, like Kat said, the Firestorm is fine, but what's he flying away from? This might have worked better if it had just been a pinup with nothing behind him, but just to take away from him, because I don't think the people behind him really add anything.
Huh. Okay. LK, what do you say?
So now is this has to be from the 4-issue miniseries?
Yeah, this is the first one, right? Yeah.
Or 5-issue miniseries. Okay. I'm still going to give it an 8 just because the main character is so dynamic. But I'll agree with Breen. This would have been the better cover for when they went to the regular series, because you need to know the character to understand, okay, well, that's Ronnie on one side, that's Professor Stein on the other.
Yeah.
So it's their way of trying to, you know, represent, you know, the split or the fusion of the two people. But, you know, for a mini series where nobody has seen Firestorm before, or certainly majority, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, by the way, this wasn't a mini series. This was just a series that was canceled after 5 issues.
It's a modern mini series,
and then came back 4 years later in 1982.
Yeah.
What people nowadays would call it.
Yeah. So,
okay, I'm going to take it a little bit further. What LK is saying, and I'm giving it a 9. And because one, yeah, Firestorm is dynamic. I get what Black Cat mentions, you know, the dynamic debut and this explosive first. You don't need that. LK pointed this out with something else where it's like, you got the #1 in the corner. You don't need to tell us it's the first issue on the cover. That being said, I like the negative because what we're getting is 2 people. And if you look, it's the action in the background isn't going forward. It's going backwards. You actually see the I don't know if you would call it a nexus or whatever, but you see as the 2 people are coming together and Firestorm is coming out of that one white spot in the background. So it's actually going backwards and forwards. It's telling a story. It might be a muddled story, but and you're right. In 1970s, people wouldn't know. We're in 2024. I know. And that's why I like this cover.
Let me ask you this.
There you go. What's
if
up?
Those hadn't been negative, because I didn't realize that was Ronnie and the Professor until you pointed that out. If you could have seen them, it might have made more sense.
Yeah. Also, I guess if they made it more the size difference, like as it goes backwards, it might have been a 10. But as it is, like I said, I'm keeping my 9.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Eric,
go ahead.
I'll just say quickly. See, I'm not sure that would I think would have made it a worse cover because then you would have had all these colors for the characters, and it would have really muddled it up more. Unless you made the characters say like maybe half the size of that, and then they were fully colored in.
How about just one image of each of them, and him flying out? You know, like I said, it's.
Or like they're kind of, you got an image of each of them blending into the red with that dot and he's come forward. LK, what did you give this?
I gave it an 8.
Okay. There we go. All righty. And let's see, only if you give it a 10 at Eric and Boyd. Wait, what? 8 for Glenzer. Firestorm gets an 8 from Eric and Boyd. All righty. I can see Ed Harris as Mr. Freeze. Can't we all? Or at least I would say Ed Harris in the 90s, definitely.
Oh, come on. What the hell was that?
Ed Harris is a good actor. What are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about this stupid called Third Strike. That was 3 inches off the plate. Dumbass.
Dark Admiral gives it an 8. Let's see. The Nova #1 cover is similar and better. Okay. I like it, says MK. He gives it an 8.
Oh, what a great pitch for Called Third Strike.
And Maranya says, Firestorm #1, dynamic action with title character flying toward the reader. Dark background makes Firestorm stand out. Background figures balance them out in the color-wise. Score is a solid 8 from Maranya as well. And an 8 from the Frog and Jackson. I am just going to go out on a limb here since we've got 8 8s, 2 7s, and a 9. That this is an 8 cover. While never saw one with the same score. I know, right? I do believe this cover is the first to earn the same score from all voters in the chat. That's right. Alrighty. The Rock's phenomenal movie because of Ed Harris. I agree. And Dan Album comes in and says, yeah, you guys, 7.
I'm going to, Dan's got taste, you agree with me. I'm going to fix this cover with changing one thing.
All right.
Instead of saying explosive first issue, how about 2 become 1? Then I want to open it up and see what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
The cover gave me a hint. Yeah.
Yep. At least it wouldn't just be reiterating what that number in the corner says.
Right.
Right. LOL, did Angel come back out of retirement? I guess that's a sports ball thing.
Yeah.
But Mastodon, give a grade on the cover because right now it is definitely an 8. We've got 9 8s We've got 9 8 7 3s, or 3 7s and 1 9. So yes, it's
we're on number 3, Ethereal.
Yep. Yeah, we're on the 3rd cover. All righty. And let's see. So let me move this cover up to its 8 spot with the other 2. Do we have a 7? Do we have? Yeah. All 3 covers so far have gotten 8s. All righty. It's my turn to lead the pack here. And I get, here we go. RDV is in the house. And I actually get one of my favorite titles. And I had this one in the auction. It's a good book. It's called Ghosts. First of all, you have Forbidden Mansion. That was supposed to be the cover to a gothic romance novel. This is on a scroll. If you look at it, the ghosts, we challenge you to read the tales of weird supernatural. It's kind of rolled up. Then you have, what is Death's Bridegroom, Ghosts in the Coffin, Spectral Coachman, plus others, naming off the stories on the bottom. You got a man marrying a woman, and when he lifts the veil, it's a skeletal face in a blonde wig. The preacher saying, "I now pronounce you man and wife. Now lift your veil and kiss your bride." It is absolutely a great gothic cover. Maybe you think it's better than the Forbidden Love or Forbidden Mansion, maybe not. But personally, I think it deserves that same 10. So that's my bid on that one. Eric, what do you think?
This is a 10. This cover image is a split second before this guy gets the shock of his life. And I like that because I think it's your imagination what the expression on his face is going to be in 2 seconds. My only complaint, Nick Cardy, he can draw him some women. But yeah, and we get a skeleton head, but we had to have it for this issue. This is a fantastic cover.
All righty. Okay, what do you think?
Let's see. I mean, yeah, it must be a really thick veil for him not to have noticed.
Oh, pipe down.
Yeah, I'll go. This will be my first 10 of the night. The way it tells the story, I love the fact that you can assume the preacher's in on the joke, or the trick from his kind of sinister look. So yeah, this will be a 10 for me.
All righty. Evil Black Cat, what says you?
I say 8.
Evil Black Cat's in college and smoking dope.
Actually drinking.
Alrighty. Okay. RDV, what about you? What do you think?
Is this Madonna's first cover appearance?
Yeah, well, she was skinnier, but this is modern day Madonna right here.
I say it's a 10.
All right.
Reynolds about to find out the shock of his life that his wife is not what she thinks he is. No, I mean she's stacked though. She's stacked though, so she must not be skeleton all the way. So maybe she's like what's this called? From He-Man, Skeletor.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Now,
Glinzer's giving it a 10. Eric and Boyd, I got to hear why you're only giving this one a 6. Let's see, 10 from Dark Admiral. Love this title. And we have MK saying creepy cover. DC had some dark stuff in the older days. 10. Alrighty. Then we have Clark Gable lead LOL with a wow scroll. 10 from Dan Album. 10 from Rhaegar. The scene on the cover is a metaphor for his life being over now that he's married. Dude, life begins if your marriage is good, or if you have to make it good again. Let's see. And he looks like Vincent Price or Burt Reynolds. Both of them work. 10 absolutely from Jackson, as well as Mastodon. All righty. We are now up to 10 10s, by the way. Let's see. 8 from Ethereal. Maranya saying Ghost number 1 cover tells a story. Monochromatic color scheme makes it look like Sepia Prince. Wish the blurbs around the trade dress and bottom of the cover weren't there. Score a ghostly 10. Yeah, you don't. Once again, you don't need the issue number 1. I don't mind the dialogue. I don't mind the titles. It's that issue number 1 that's a little bit distracting. I'm guessing the Reds are playing the Giants SMK with the outbursts and such. Yeah, my joke is better than RDV's. How dare you?
Yeah, no, it's Astros Giants, but
okay, guys. Okay, so you got a 6, 7. Let's see, 2 8s and a 9, and you still end up with 5 10s. So there you go. This one gets the 10 treatment. It is super awesome. All righty, RDV, you get to start us off next, and we have Jonah Hex, number 1. Oh, hold on just a second. I'll be right back. Don't start yet, or at least don't give the grade yet.
Yeah, well, this is appropriate because Jonah Hex is back in this week's Outsiders.
Okay. Actually, it's not Jonah Hex; it's Ginny Hex.
No, it's look again. Jonah makes an appearance. He basically makes an appearance as a ghost.
Oh, is it?
Wow. Because you picked up that gun, now you're stuck having to deal with all these ghosts for the rest of your life until you turn the gun on yourself.
Okay, I did not buy my copy yet. I don't go on that site though.
What are
you're talking about on the new book out this week? It has Jonah Hex in it, which also shows it's the Outsiders.
Yeah, the worst book of 2024.
We will have to read this book.
The worst book of 2024 so far.
I'll just say this. That, I was hoping there was really gonna be Ginny Hex somehow get her face marred like her grandfather's. They were gonna do a modern Ginny Hex with a scar face.
That would actually be cool. All right, John. Let's talk about Jonah Hex number 1 there, RDV.
It's a great book so much that I had to go buy it myself earlier this year.
All right.
And I give it a 10, man. It's weird that his gun's green, a little miscoloring, you know. But once again, the guy's like, "I got your coffin, all signed up for you." Then take her over there. You guys are gonna drag him over, gonna put him in there. I love the detail of the wood beneath him. Like I said, the wrinkles in the clothes. There's a lot of detail here. Even the shadow over there is up. But and the photo in the corner.
Okay, Eric, what do you say?
I'm going to go 9. I want to explain. Somebody might think, okay, it's a number 1 issue, but the title character is on the ground. Kind of, you can't see like all of his face perfectly because he's kind of like in a weird position. But this was literally 1 or 2 months after his feature went from Weird Western Tales to his own title. So
yeah,
everybody was completely familiar with Jonah Hex by this time. And I love what's going on in this cover. So it's a 9.
All righty. How about you, okay?
Yeah, I'll go with a 9 as well. Just looking at the cover, having recently watched The Hateful Eight again a few weeks ago, I mean, it feels like it could be something out of a Tarantino Western.
I swear you said Hateful Eight, and my mind went straight to Ridiculous 6.
Is that a Garcia Lopez cover?
I'm not sure, actually.
If you look by his leg, it says something Lopez.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. I think you might be right there.
Cool.
That is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think it says something Barro Lopez or something like that.
George Perez.
Well, I'm actually finding out. I'm looking it up.
It's George Lopez. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's George Lopez. There we go. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, artist and cover.
Cool.
All right.
That is a Garcia.
Yes. Evil Black Cat.
I'll give this a 9.
Okie dokies.
I am a fan of shoving people in coffins when their time comes, so.
Or before.
That's
or having that be the reason their time has come is always good. Yes. All righty. Before I go on, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening in, feel free to toss out the number. If you judge the cover honestly. That's all I ask. And
also,
put the number,
I give it a bonus point for floating heads.
Okay. You don't have to leave a reason and such, but if you give a good cover a 2, I'm going to ask the reason, you know, obviously. That being said, what else? Don't forget to do all the liking and all the clicking and likes and such. Alrighty. Personally, I think this is a 10. The only thing I could see, and maybe this is actually making it better, is he's going to drag Jonah Hex across that candle, and they may have problems. All right. Everything was made of dry wood at that time. But that being said, you're right. At this point in time, it was only a couple of months after his Weird Western Tales. People were A-OK. So this is the rare #1 cover where you don't get a hero shot. This is the rare first issue where our hero is out. You know, this isn't Firestorm flying. This isn't Luke Cage looking ready for a fight. This man is on the floor and just about to get killed. So I like the subversiveness of this cover. I'm giving this one a 10. All righty. And let's move to the chat. And we see Rhaegar gives it a 7 and Glinzer gives it a 9. There we go. And let's see. Ethereal and Eric and Boyd agree with Rhaegar, saying nothing special here. Would be better if his grave was around. Glinzer says Hex getting dragged to an open coffin with the Undertaker leering. A great scene. Maranya saying Jonah Hex #1, dramatic cover. Color accentuates the drama. Wish the trade dress was higher. And if the now in his own magazine bit was needed, put in a skinny blurb at the bottom. But she still scores Hex as a 10. All righty, Jackson Ray Kirk, written by Michael Fleischer with art and inks by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. And Jackson Ray Kirk also says an 8. The lone 8 so far. 7 from MK. Wow. As many 9s as we've got 7s. That pistol is going to blow his nuts off, says Eric and Boyd.
The hammer's up. It's not pulled back.
Dan Alvin says 7, higher conceptually, but I've got too many structural misgivings. LOL. Yep, exactly. I'd say 9 for content, but 7 overall. Alrighty.
But I will tell people, do not carry your gun by your nads. I'm not talking about
I disagree absolutely with RDV. By all means, carry your gun with your nads, film yourself constantly, and as you're on the way to the hospital, tag me in the video. I want to see that. All right, but what we do have here, kids, we've got 5 7s, 1 8, 4 9s, 3 10s. Let's see, the 5 takes up to the 2s. We've got the 8s. This still has more on the 9 and 10 side than it has the 8s. I'm thinking this goes to the 9s.
You know what the sad part is?
What is the sad part?
Whoever tags you in that video of them being shot in the nads and going to the hospital, they will have more views than all your last 50 videos combined.
You know what? If somebody shoots themselves in the nads, they deserve the views. I'm okay with that. Okay, let's go back. I believe it's Eric's turn again.
I was going to say, their love one could say that you encouraged them to do it.
Yeah, please don't shoot yourself in the nads. It would be bad. Don't do it. There you go. I'm covering myself, lawyerly.
Unless you're Zach, then you can do it.
Also, by the way, if you are dumb enough to shoot yourself in the nads on my say so, you deserve it too. Okay, so go on ahead, Eric. Start us off.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact line, but they did it. They finally did it.
They blew it up.
I got to give this a
maniacs. All right.
Yeah, it's like Commandy's rolling away from a ruined civilization. The Statue of Liberty being, tilted and half underwater. This is really this is the best of the Kirby first issue covers. I'll say that.
All righty, we got a 10 from Eric. LK, what do we have from an LK?
Oh, I hate to do this to Kirby, but I'm going to go an 8. I mean, yeah, the statue's nice, but I mean, Commandy's pretty plain looking, honestly.
He's a guy in jean shorts.
Well,
okay.
even
Shorts.
kind of his face and what have you. It's an 8. It's an 8 for me.
Okay. Evil Black Cat, what's up?
Technical difficulties, if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. Yeah, I'm having some difficulties with my monitor. Can you skip over to other people?
Sure. You want to throw out a...
I have the monitor issue, so I can't actually see my
Oh, you
screen
can't see it. Gotcha. Okay, RDV.
I cannot see it either.
Daddy,
Alicia?
are we in this live stream?
For the millionth time, no.
Oh.
Alrighty. What do you say there?
I gotta say, first of all, that's if anybody's seen E's slideshows, that's him back in the '80s with the shirt off, and he's in a raft.
It's true. I was
and he's going to Planet of the Apes.
Yes, I have been there.
I love the Statue of Liberty. I love dystopian planets where we basically desolate, I guess you could say. You know, whether it's Logan's Run or any of the other ones where basically like mankind's pretty much been like screwed themselves over, to the point where everything is like ruins. So I give this a 10.
Alrighty. And frankly, I'm going to agree. Not only for the Statue of Liberty, the Empire State Building, two of the biggest New York icons back in the 70s. It just, and I don't think Commandy looks plain at all. This book does tell a story. This cover does tell a story. It more so asks you questions. You know, what do you, and you got to open this one. You got to open this book. I love the way the water looks. Jack Kirby just he outdid himself on this one. You talk about details. Look at the cracks, the lines, the coloring, the shading on the statue. Just, hey, you know what? We need 2 random birds. This cover is absolutely fantastic.
You know what goes wrong? You know what goes wrong for Commandy for me? First thing for Commandy, the whole entire series, is the animal people. It's like he's on Counter Earth.
Okay. Alrighty. The problem with all of it is I could give it a 10. Eric could give it a 10, but holy carapola, look at this. Glenzer, Eric, Austin, Dark Admiral, Jackson, and Ethereal. And let's see, Rhaegar Commandy in a timely cover predicting the U.S. after 2024 elections. It gets a 10. Yep, another person who doesn't believe Trump's going to win. I think he's going to win. I just don't think it's going to matter. If EBC rate's too low, you could say you can't hear him. It looks like the statue is turning back to bronze. Yes, we can.
All right, I think it should work.
Okay. Let's see. What is Commandy doing in New York City? 10. It reminds me of Ghostbusters with the statue walking on the water. That's from MK. And let's see. 9 for incredible water details. Wow, says Dan Album. Commandy number 1 has Planet of the Apes vibes, says Maranya, with Statue of Liberty. Drama, detail, proper amount of clutter. Color evokes a ruined world. Commandy sailing towards the reader. Score a Last Boy 10. Alrighty, and this is a universal 8. So, I already gave, you said 8 earlier there, Austin, right? Yep.
I'm guessing somehow the water or tidal wave pushed the Statue of Liberty into New York or something like that. That's what I don't understand, because I think it's freaking heavy, and it's a while away from New York. So
okay. Well,
I think after they fought Vigo the Vigorian or something like that, the statue just got a new spot.
As it stands, we've got 7 8s, a 9, and 5 10s.
Yes, and now that my monitor issues has been fixed, I need to get a new wire or fix my HDMI cable.
Okay.
I give this a 9.
A 9, and you settled it. It was going to be an 8. It is now a 9 because it kind of evens everything out. And here we go. Put that in the 9s. And already. And who's going next? It's Eric. No, it's LK. You get the man bat number 1.
Okay. Let me put up the stop and put up the start and take a look here. What do we got? First picture. Ugh. I don't like how any of the figures are drawn here. This is getting a 4 from me.
Okay. All right. Evil Black Cat.
I give this a 7.
All right.
It's eerie enough. The backgrounds are drawn well enough, but I'm not a fan of the faces. Like the face on Man-Bat's weird, and because the ears on Batman's head is merging with both his cape and the background, it looks more like Man instead of Batman.
All righty. RDV, what do you say?
Well, if you put a costume on him, you know, the cape and cowl, is he Man Batman? Big Bang Theory.
And then if you remove the ears from the cowl, is it Man Bat Man?
I don't know, but I give this a 9.
Alrighty.
I love the purple. I love the cast in the background. The woman who's barely basically defying physics is somehow being held on by him while he's flying, and then Batman's like YOLO.
Okay, how about you, Eric? What do you say?
The most I can give this is a 7.
Alrighty.
I like Man-Bat. Like, he's well done. Batman looks goofy. It should maybe coming at him at a different angle.
Okay.
Even if the castle's facing where it is. But I have a bone to pick with something I've seen a couple times tonight. And okay, the circular first DC issue. Okay.
Yes.
They did that with Tarzan. Makes sense. It had come from Gold Key. Where the hell were the other Man-Bat issues that weren't published?
Yeah, that is. You're right. It's kind of weird to put that on a Batman title.
You know, it would be better if he was gliding from behind him, and like Man-Bat doesn't see him, but you see him like and his cape stretched out.
Okay. Let me give my grade here, and maybe I can explain it. And I'm giving this a 6. I think it's a very average, kind of bland cover. Not meh. I see what they're going for. Look at the cape.
Yeah.
The cape came first. The cape came first. And then they realized, wait a second, what is Batman jumping off of? Like Eric said, the position of the castle. And if you look at Batman, he's not in the center of his cape coming towards Man-Bat like he should be. He's now going sideways with his cape instead of forward with his cape. So I'm looking at it, and the cape came first. They drew that and then put Batman in after they realized he's not jumping off of anything. And so Batman looks all askew. So, and that's what I'm focused on. Man-Bat looks fine. The girl looks awesome. The castle's done well. Batman was completely fucked up on this, and I'm telling you, that's the reasoning. You can see right at the top, right where his head is, you can see how the cape is supposed to come in at the middle. It's just the physics of the cape is not matching, and I bet you money
it's a McFarlane cape.
Oh, but the McFarlane cape would be going all sorts of different directions, and he'd still be flying.
For how long it is,
Okay, so there we go. We got our grades. Let's go to the chat, and Dark Admiral gives it a 9. Alrighty, and let's see. Looks off 6, and I am being kind, says Glinzer. Well, childhood flashback. I remember this creeping me out, says Dan Alvin. It needs a different colored background in Moon, says Glinzer. 7 for me. Looks like Batman is trying to shield Man-Bat and the chick from the rain. Alrighty. Maranya says, Man-Bat 1, great concept, suffers from bad execution art-wise. Color hinders rather than accentuates the art. Score, a baddie 7. And then we have 5. Looks like a panel from the story within, says Jackson Raykirk. Alrighty. Batman is doing the Superman. Man-Bat looks high on crack, and there's a damsel in peril. Also, the Blood Moon, another omen of eschatology in the background. He gives it a 9. It just looks weird, says Austin. Also, I like the Gothic background. 6 for striking yellow on purple trade dress and cape mimicking the circumference of the moon. Lots of deficiency beyond that. Alrighty. And Bat looks good. It's Batman. To be fair, you can at least tell what's happening. Yeah, that's true. Eric and Boyd gives it a 6.
Man, if they would have drawn the cave smaller and had him coming from the archway up there where that light is.
But then backs it up and gives it a 7. So, or a 5, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. This would be better if they did more perspective. Man-Bat being closer and a more coward angle from Batman.
You know what I like? The Batman series where he actually fires a grappling gun and he's hanging on the actual tail of the Man-Bat.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And you do that in the video game, Arkham Knight. Alrighty, so there we go. What we got is 1 4, 2 5s, 3 6s, 4 7s, no 8s, and 3 9s. But with the 4 and 5, destroy those 9s. The 6s, you take that at the 8s. It looks like this in already. Still in the goods, even with the enough people saved it from.
Oh, too generous.
I agree. I agree with this one. Alrighty. That being said, who's next? It's Evil Black Cat. Are you okay to start us off? Do you want to move?
No, I'm okay.
Alrighty, you get Mr. Miracle number 1.
Background details and just let me check out the background. If my enemies think that escape from the, I'll give this an 8.
Alright.
Like, actually, I'm gonna change it to a 7 because I was gonna say Mr. Miracle is the greatest escape artist and blah blah blah, but we don't know that yet, except for that part in the mirror, in the caption box that says he's an escape artist. But if this was issue 2, it would have been ranked higher. But yeah, it's about a 7 for me.
Alrighty. What's up, RDV?
Not much. Back in the day, this would have been no shadow band can hold him. I love comics. My enemies think I can escape it as possible, but they're in for a rude shock. Goodbye, Angle Team. You've lost your wager and your YouTube channel. Dude, it's a cool cover, man. Like, literally, like, this guy's in a rocket ship, and they literally took Houdini and turned him into a comic book hero. It's great. And then the super escape artist, the making of a legend. A lot of word bubbles, though. I would say that.
Yeah, a lot of.
I don't need the Kirby's here, so that brings it down to a 9 for me. But I'm going with a 9. It's fun.
Alrighty, Eric, what do you think?
10. And for the first 6 months that he was there, if you it was inescapable. They every chance they had. I mean, it was a more welcome Bendis is coming. And unnecessary blurbs were the thing of the day. But the cover itself, I mean, it's a great shot of Mr. Miracle. You get an idea what's going on by the word balloons, which, you know, again, we're far more prevalent in these days, but actually helps figure out what's going on in the cover. So yeah, this is my second favorite Kirby cover of number 1. So that's a 10.
Alrighty. LK.
Well, I would give it a 9, but again, just too many word bubbles and what have you. And the whole thing is you've got the thing at the top about he cheats death, no trap can hold him. That's great. Then you don't need the super escape artist. You don't need the making of the legend. That, to me, really detracts. So it's an 8 for me.
Yeah, I can see that. I think those are the two big mistakes on this cover. Super Escape Artist, you're right. You get the same information at the top. The making of a legend. What does that even mean? You know, I understand that. I understand that. This
thing is like the Kirby's Here stamp is fine because it's small and it's in the it's in the bottom portion. But it's those two things over on the right. They just overdid it, trying to oversell this to people.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. I've always loved this cover. This is one of my favorite Bronze Age DC covers. One of my favorite Kirby covers because of Mr. Miracle. And he is drawing the eye. That is one hell of an outfit. That is it. It is. It really works. That's one of my favorite Kirby designs. So that's what my eye is drawn to. And when you're studying the cover, like we do on these things, you do start to notice the clutter of the word balloons. But I still think that image, this image right here, makes for an incredible cover. Goodness gracious. I want to give it a 10, but you know what? I'm giving it a 9 as well. Alrighty, so Rhaegar says 9 and Ethereal Dragon says 8. Alrighty.
Is e-roboting for everyone or just me?
Not this last time.
He roboted a little bit.
Now, it looked like he froze there for a second.
No, I'm stopped. I actually stopped to hear what you guys were saying. Mr. Miracle #1 dynamic action cover suffers from lots of unnecessarily dialogue and blurbs. The one above the trade dress is only one needed. Good color and detail, scored an 8. And then Glinzer says 9, as well as Eric and Boyd. Alrighty. And we have Kirby is here, whoopee, says Jackson, which was a big deal back in the day, actually, because he had been Marvel's guy. Let's see, 10, it's a miracle how he escaped, says MK. Alrighty, and 6 from Dan Alvin. You're the low guy. Do you have a Y on that? I like the blurbs. It really hypes it up. Mind you, if you don't want to give your reasons, it's okay. Alrighty, as it goes, though, and by the way, you can always throw in your votes even after move on and such. But what we've got here is 2 10s, 1 6, 2 7s, and then 2 8s. And we've got 6 9s. And even with those 2 8s left over, we got more 9s. I'm going to put this into the 9 category. Alrighty, with the awesomes. And let's move on. And next up, it's RDV again, right? You get to start us off with Omok, the one-man Army Corps. There's no way we could leave this one off. We had to talk about this. But RDV, you could lead the way.
It's a good thing I just got back.
I just noticed you for the Mr. Miracle, you're using my old icon.
For the last one I did, yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I've always hated this cover with the stupid girl in the fridge thing. I gotta give us a 6. It's just
I have a feeling this is going to be a love or hate it. Oh, go on ahead. I'm sorry.
It's nothing against the character. It's just that you're using a white background. You're using Starling Look. You can barely read it. It's that weird font. It should have outlined it all, like the world beneath it, or the one above.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they did that. But once again, it's very crowded at the top again. I don't know what the point of that is. I mean, they want you to see that it's the line of DC. They're proud about that. It's still only 20 cents, but it's like spectacular issue. It's like a pop-ups, and you go on internet every time.
All right, and you're giving it a what?
I'm gonna give it a 6.
All righty. How about you, Eric?
I'm gonna say 5.
Okay.
This is one time where I will say there's too many words. And I know by this time you're supposed to think, well, all you gotta do is throw Kirby on there and it'll sell. Now the bloom was pretty much off the Kirby Rose at DC by this time. And that's Omac's first appearance, but he's tiny on the cover. At least Commandy was in front of the in the foreground. It's like, this doesn't tell me anything. And the only compelling part of that is, what the hell is with this chick that he's throwing?
Yeah, is she fridged?
But well, read the book. But it's yeah, this doesn't work for me.
All righty, LK, what do you say?
I'm gonna go one lower and give this a 4. All those reasons. I mean, it almost feels like they even consult Kirby on this, like they just borrowed a drawing of his and slapped it on here. And I mean, honestly, it seems more like an ad that you would find inside a comic book to promote it than the actual cover. It's that bad.
All righty, Evil Black Cat.
I give this a 6. Like, it's too bland. It's just him throwing some chick in a box. And it's not the more famous Grant Morrison version.
You can never bring that up again.
You put a cape on him. If you color him purple, put a cape on him. He's the Sentry, X-Men.
All right. Okay. So
Or Gladiator. Sorry.
yeah, I've read this book. I love this book, and in all honesty, this time I get to be the contrarian. Excuse me. This has always been a cover that's intrigued me. It really has. The girl in the box, I always thought, it's so ugly, it's beautiful. That's what I think about this cover. It's just an ugly, beautiful.
Yeah, but E, you can't be the contrarian.
It reminds me of my time in my basement. It is it's just an odd duck of a cover. It's like nothing. It was almost made not to work. And in doing so, it worked on me. I'm not going to say it's a perfect. I'm not giving this thing a 10, but I am giving it an 8. I like this cover.
Yeah, but better you can't be the
But
you can't be the contrarian. It's written in LK's statement contract that he has to be the contrarian.
Well, he went first before me, so there you go. Glinzer's agreeing with me. That's 8, and Dark Admiral's giving it a 7.
it'd be better if Olmec was a woman on his cover.
It's a 6 for Austin. Technically, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just off-putting. Yeah, I know. That's actually why I like it. Kirby lost his mind, and Jackson Raker gives it a 3. A very bad cover. MK, who stuffed that girl in the box? Looks like the OMAC is pitching the girl in the box. I'll go 7. By the way, after this live stream, go on over to the homepage on my channel. In videos, look up OMAC. I did a comic book origins on this character, and you could see what's going on with the girl in the box.
Maybe she's going out.
Or from Ethereal, Too Much Negative Space, and Eric and Boyd agrees with LK and lost it. Ethereal Dragon, that it deserves a 4 as well. OMAC number 1 says Maranya, great concept, overshadowed by too much words on the cover. Cover art is too small to grab attention. Score an AWOL from a one-man army of 6. Okay, she gives it a 6. 4, throw motion lines look like tethers, too many words, very stiff. I do appreciate the blinding white background, though. And that was from Dan. She's the chick. That's exactly what I thought when he said it as well. And the movie boxing, Helena did the concept of a woman in a box much better. And we got the stop. And here's what we got. We've got 1, 2, 2 8s, 2 7s. Those are taken up by those 6s. And then you got to end up with that 1 6 with 5 or 4 4s. Ladies and gentlemen, this may be a little, this may be a little heresy, but this is a bad Kirby cover. we ranked a Kirby cover as bad. All righty, there you go, gang. Let's see. RDV did his. It's my turn to start off, and this is Eric's choice. And we've got the Secret Society of Supervillains. And yes, they are stuffing Batman and Green Lantern robots into a garbage can. Or is it scarecrows? We have Captain Cold saying that's the end of those Junkhead Heroes Grodd. Or Junk Heap Heroes. Today we crush the robot Justice League, Captain Cold. Tomorrow we destroy the real. And you even see the rest of the heroes running away from something. I don't get that. Or the villains.
Could it be more creepy if this is a horror book and she's actually crawling out of a TV like The Exorcist, The Ring?
That could actually be. Look, I don't hate this cover. It's kind of weird for a first issue. And yes, I just gave a good grade to Oma. I like it's just what's going on. I'm going to give this one a 7. It's not bad. It's just confusing to me. Eric, explain this.
Well, I this was just the first thing that popped in my head. I'm giving this an 8.
Okay.
It's far from the best cover, but there is a Blackhawk cover where they use the term junk heap heroes. I've never heard that. There's only 2 times I've ever seen it, so that kind of caught my eye. Obviously, this is a book that stars the villains.
Yes.
Now, in those days, the villains still pretty much had to lose. So you had to show definitively that they weren't the actual real Justice League getting shoved into a garbage can. It's obviously symbolism. And the other villains are like, come on, man, let's go. We're done. Here, let's get out of here. It just, and I like the purple. God, DC loved purple.
They do like their
in
purple.
The Silver and Bronze Age.
They are Kim Basinger from Batman. Yeah.
It's just kind of neat. You know, I said it's
all right. Okay. Is this Neil Adams?
No, it's Ernie Chow.
All right. Okay, LK, what's up?
I'll give it an 8 as well. And just seeing this, makes me wonder if the Champions, I think it's Champions number 6 from Heroic, got some inspiration from this, because it's a part of the story is the head villain, Madam Sin, puts together a group of people to take on the Champions, and we see them training, and at first you're thinking like, oh wow, they're beating up on the Champions, what's going on? And then of course it turns out that they're actually robots that they're training against when one of the heads pops off. So fun stuff. So yeah, I'll give it an 8.
Okay. I was wondering if I had that in the box here, please. Isn't the Champions one of the books that you got? It wasn't this one. It was the one before.
It's definitely one of the ones that you had in one of the last couple of auctions. I think it is Champions.
Yeah,
it's the mostly black cover.
Okay. Alrighty, Evil Black Cat, what says you?
I'm not sure whether it's the cover or just the scan, so I'm just gonna blame the scam and give this a 9.
Okay.
Like, it's the villains teaming up. You know what you expect. There's fake Justice League members, Flashes on the floor, Batman and Green Lantern in the trash. You have, I think it's a majority of Green Lantern and Flash villains, though, because it's Sinestro, Mirror Master, Star Sapphire, Grodd, and Captain Cold. So
they're the main ones.
Secret Society of supervillains, more Green Lantern and Flash villains teaming up.
Well, in the book itself, the Funky Flashman is kind of like the manager of these guys. At one point in time, he even gets Darkseid on the team. So different times, pre-crisis, ladies and gentlemen. Alrighty, and RDV, what do you say about this one?
Well, it looks like Grodd actually finally had a chance of winning, but it was only against robots. Interesting. I guess this is an Elseworlds, as it looks like.
No, it's not.
It's pre-crisis.
Yeah, but I mean, like the robot Justice League, though. That's just weird.
Well, no,
they're just training dummies.
Yeah, they're training. Yeah.
Anyway, if it wasn't so faded, it looked a lot better. But I do like the 10 Masters of Evil together in one brain-boggling book. That's weird. Like seeing all the villains, and that's an interesting version of Grodd, because usually Grodd is like not drawn smiling like that. When I ever see him, he's more like terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
you know. But you know, I love the detail in the trash can. You know, I feel like Mirror Master's gonna shoot him in the back, like they just don't like. But yeah, I'd say it's about a 7 for me. Not digging that super villains title font there.
Yeah, it just kind of looks clunky right there.
Looks like a cartoon.
Alrighty, going up. Wait, okay, so we got Eric. Oh, I gave mine. Eric, did you give yours?
Yeah. 8.
Okay, so 2, 4, 5. Yep. Okay, we go to the chat. Glenzer and Dark Admiral are giving it 10s. Let's see. Rhaegar gives it a 6. Ethereal Dragon a 7. Alrighty. And we have, I give this a 6 too. It's a little busy. My eyes are all over the place with it. And Eric and Boyd gives it a 6. And Jackson Raykirk gives it a 7. So we get 2 more 6s and 1 more 7. Maranya says, Secret Society Supervillains #1. Too much trade dress crowds the great story arc. Gorilla brings the score up to a villainous 8. Alrighty. 7. Also, why does Grodd have 3 eyes, or is that his nose? Yes, it's his nose. Alrighty. And we get an 8 from MK. Oh, 7 from MK. Let's see. 8 from Dan. Love the fleeing villains and receding perspective beneath Grodd with cityscape in the distant background. 10 Masters of Evil in the top right. A shot at the Marvel, says Glenzer. Alrighty. Okay, and what we ended up with are 3 6s and 3 10s. We've got 5 9s and 5 7s and a 9 and 4 8s. This leads to 7 5, and that puts this solidly at the 7s. Alrighty. There we go. And let's see whose turn. It was my turn to start. So I guess now, Eric, you get Supergirl #1.
I will give this 8.
An 8. Okay.
Yeah, it's she. Again, like I said, she had just come off a 40-something issue run in Adventure Comics, so it's not necessary to do the pin-up cover. So you can do the middle of an action scene. It's just, it seems like kind of minimal background, and I mean you can tell what's going on. It's kind of dynamic, but it's not enough for me to warrant it a 9 or a 10.
Alrighty, LK, what's up?
Oh, as much as I want to give this a 10 because it's Supergirl, first off, I'm going to knock a point off because we don't get like an inset picture of Zatanna. We just get the little blurb at the top. Also, it's funny how with all the other just about every #1 that we saw before, there was some big sticker saying, you know, first issue or #1 or premiere, and there's nothing on this one.
Okay, that to me is not a bad thing, but
no, that I'm just pointing out, it's just an odd thing. And her body position is just really weird. I mean, I know, you know, getting hit with a digger machine, but yeah, I'm going an 8.
All right. Evil Black Cat, what says you?
I say 9.
Alrighty, and why do you say 9?
Because Evil Black Cat is a mark for Supergirl.
Okay.
Like, have I not told you the story enough? Said the story enough?
Alrighty. Hey, enough explanation. RDV, what do you think?
Dude, just the detail on that actual construction vehicle swinging into it, that's a 10.
Okay.
I mean, also Supergirl's got the short pants on too.
Yeah, the hot pants Supergirl is the better Supergirl.
Exactly, you know. Maybe
for their short pants there.
She's a damsel in distress right there, and that guy is like, oh shit. Like I think we might actually die here. So yeah, it's a 10, dude. I love it.
Alrighty. I'm going to go 9 because I, too, am a shill for Supergirl, especially Hot Pants Supergirl. I think this is, once again, we're ignoring the superpose and all that kind of stuff. We're straight on into the action. This is showing us something that we will never get in modern age until cooler heads reside, and that is a woman in distress, a female hero in distress. You're not going to see that these days. It is, I think this is a wonderful cover for what it is, for its starting issue. I do agree, yeah, maybe you'd be a little bit confused. Maybe not, because like Eric said, she'd just been through 40 issues of Adventure Comics, that this is a #1. But looking at it now, 50 years later, 40 years later, yeah, it works. It really works. A 9 for me, and from Glenzer, apparently. Also, MK says 10 for me. She's having that guy. She's saving that guy and looks really hot as she's getting smashed. Insert smashing joke here. Against the wall, I mean. That doesn't make it better, dude. Let's see. Rhaegar gives it a 7. I remember the days of doing up against the wall. So anywho, Rhaegar or Jackson Raykirk saying 7, and Austin is saying 5. This is a 5. It's awkward. All right, let's give it at 7, and then bring on down that 5. We have Supergirl #1, says Maranya. Great concept. Supergirl should have been larger. The device is the focus, not her. Even so, the score is a super 8. Dark Admiral says 8. Just want to point out that this cover wouldn't fly today. The headlights and the gams.
Those gams.
And the boobs. 8 would be a 9 if there were any detail going on in that large, empty, cream-colored background on the left half, or maybe a line for the cleavage. All righty, and Dan gives it an 8. And let's see. Did you miss my score? Oh, no. Did I? Yes, I did. Because, yep. All right, because I gave it a 9, and Evil Black Cat, Glenzer, and me. Okay, there we go. All right. You're going to bring that to a lab and show us the video we're on? Okay, so let's see. We got the stop, and what we have here is 2 10s and a 5, and that kind of cancels it out, bringing it to the 7s, which cancels 2 of the 9s, and then we got 5 8s, and there you go. This makes it to the 8 column. Boom. All righty, and that is going with the very goods right here. And let's see, who's starting next? It was RDV that started with Supergirl, right?
Nothing.
I don't think I started with her today.
Secret Super Saiyan, or
That was me.
oh, you started. So it's LK that gets to start off with Swamp Thing #1.
Okay, kind of getting back to horror roots. It's because of the detail on the backside of Swampy, I'll go ahead and give it an 8, but it's barely an 8.
All right. Okie dokie. Nope, I forgot to write this one down. Okay. All righty. We get an 8 from LK, Evil Black Cat. What do you think?
I give this a 9.
All righty.
Again, not a fan of the top 1/3 being just writings and all that. But it is Swamp Thing coming out of the swamp, and you do have the terrified people. So you're not sure whether it's a villain or a hero, but yeah, we'll see.
Okay. RDV, what do you say?
Alrighty. That guy's really screwed. You're gonna fire into this moss and stuff, hoping your gun's gonna do anything. No, that's a 10.
All right.
Yeah.
Eric, what do you think?
You know, I think I'm going to go 10 also. If I recall, prior to this, his only appearance had been that one story in House of Secrets. So you really didn't know what direction they were going to go with the character necessarily, except for that he had his own title. So there's a good chance he was going to be a hero. But It's just you can really you really him coming out of the bog or whatever the hell that is, and the water running off of him, the two terrified people, the background. This is really good, and
is that supposed to be? Go ahead.
I would say you don't necessarily need to see him from the front because, well, he's a thing. And I think it kind of adds to the mystery of the cover. So it makes you want to open up and see what the hell's going on.
Is that not Abby?
It might have been.
Like the guy who's holding her hostage?
That's Louise Simonson.
Yeah.
All right, this is a 10 cover. I love the background with the trees, the yellow, the whole 9 yards. That is just, it's like the moon's lighting it up. The Swamp Thing coming out of the water, just the way the water physics work in the art is awesome. The way it's falling off of his body. Is he screaming in fear? Is he screaming in pain and agony? Or is he growling at a guy who's holding Abby with a gun? There's all sorts of things that this could be happening with the Swamp Thing's face. Absolutely iconic cover right here. And it gets 10 from me. Going over to the chat. And we've got Windsor giving it a 9 and Austin giving it a 7. All right. We got, Eric and Boyd giving it an 8. And we have a 9 from Dark Admiral, which the background was different. Not sure how to describe it. All right. 7 from Ethereal Dragon and 9 from Jackson Raykirk. All righty. And then we have, let's see, Swamp Thing. Number 1 says Maranya. Green of the trade dress reflected in the Swamp Thing colors. Highlight the main figures. Background recedes as it should. Score a swampy 10 from Maranya. Okay, and then we have, let's see, Swamp Thing is just another name for Yoshin. Yoshin, Bashin. Now I want to give this I want to give this video a copyright claim here. I want the Swedes to get my video.
We should have done that real quick while I had my beard. I could have shaved the mustache off and
I know, right?
Real quick.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I shouldn't. Here
Žere
goes.
hlavně prašáky, jmenuje se Jožin. Jožin s Pážin, močálem se plíží. Jožin s Pážin, k vesnici se blíží.
That will never grow old to me. Okay.
It's so spot on. Eric has the music, the rug, and everything.
I tell you what, of all the ones that he did, those are the ones that we look the most like them.
I know, right? That's
I like the guy. My favorite is the one with the flute.
Yeah. That does capture it. But there you go. For all of you who have not yet seen that, congratulations. It's one of my favorite just because Eric's characters.
It's just so random.
It's just standing there. Yoshin, Bashin.
I had moves.
Oh, all righty. Okay. Anywho. All right. That is where me and Eric first met. We were a Swedish folk band for a little bit. Let's see. Where are we? I will say 9 for the cover, says MK. Pretty awesome. And that dude looks terrified. All righty. And then we have 7 from Rhaegar saying, Terror in the Swamps. It makes you feel like you're the Swamp Thing. And Dan Alvin is saying 8 for the onlooker's face. Hard to be objective for such an iconic number 1 because you know all these existential gravitas come for decades. Yeah, I agree with that. I can see where you're coming from. When he and Breen meet in person, they should recreate that video in the same suits. Oh my gosh, if only. Yes, if only we could grab a hold of some of those suits. Bearded Eric is the Dark Eric from the Mirrorverse.
And go to Salvation Army or Goodwill. They still sell those coats. I got a sport coat.
All right. I wish we could show. I'm probably going to get copyright claim just based on that part of the video, but it's worth it sometimes to show. For a long time, we RDV made these up. If you can make them so they're like that GIF, that would be awesome.
Without the thing, yeah,
like the one I show when I'm kind of killing time.
The longer video.
Eric and I as Fred and Barney.
Yeah,
I look like Rick Moranis in this, and he looks like John Goodman. It took me a while to realize you put our faces over John Goodman and Rick Moranis. We look so much like the two of them. So that I thought that was kind of funny. But there you go. Gosh darn it, I'm just kind of sharing
was that Rick Moranis' last movie? Then he just kind of quit Hollywood.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Come and play with us, Daddy. Forever and ever and ever.
There you go. All right. Okay. Back to work. Back to work, kids.
No, we can't go back to work.
I'm going to
James Bond.
I'm going to redo that and put your face on the girls.
Okay, that would be nice. Doing a recreation could solve the copyright problem every time you use it. I think it's the music. It's the music that gets us. This stream is about to be tweeted. Yeah. Okay. So, so what we have now, kids.
So we go to James Bond or say hello to my little friends.
Say hello to my little friends. All right. Let's see. We are on Swamp Thing, and what we have is 4 10s. 3 7s, 3 8s, and 5 9s. This ends up, the Swamp Thing ends up in the 9s, ladies and gentlemen. This goes to awesome. All righty, and next up, let's see, it was LK that started us off on the last one. Evil Black Cat, Curious can take, the Joker.
It's a 10.
All righty.
Yeah, it is zany. It is Joker. You have the villains. You have Catwoman in that old costume. He's ripping up Batman. Like, it is a 10.
All right.
Like I say, one of my criteria is how much it makes me want to go open up the book and read it. This just makes me want to get that book off the shelves.
Ah, yes. All righty, RDV, what do you say?
Well, I say that the Riddler needs a hat tremendously. Now I know why, because he's balding. Is that supposed to be who's in the background on the left? Is that Catwoman?
That's Catwoman.
That is the late 70s Catwoman suit.
Yeah, that's 1970s Catwoman.
It's the one introduced in, I think, the Frank Robbins run.
They also used it in Wonder Woman when she fought Wonder Woman.
I was gonna say because it looked like Zatanna was handing out her lobster.
Yeah, she's working. She was working towards the lobster on her head.
I think she wore this costume the first time they introduced the Catmobile.
So this is basically based off the 66 designs,
except for Catwoman.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, because looking at Two-Face, he's got green instead of red. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I do like the Burgess Merritt, I think is his name, the guy who did the Penguin.
Yep, Burgess, yeah.
Burgess, whatever. Honestly, this is a good cover, he's ripping out. But it is just crazy that all the villains would be there. Is like the Joker just kind of showing up random, and they're like, "What the hell?"
Well, he's saying, "Ha ha ha! Eat your hearts out, you two-bit baddies! This magazine belongs to Batman's #1 foe, me." So he's kind of there bragging. Okay. He invited him to brag. He's got his own comic.
Okay, I gotta give it a time. Go to 9.
Alrighty. We've got a 10 and a 9. And Eric, what do you say?
I say this magazine belongs to Batman's #1 foe, me, and I end every issue in jail. Curse the Comics Code. This is absolutely a 10. It's everything you want in the cover. I mean, it's I said that, it would be lost today because you couldn't do the word balloons.
Yeah,
it's perfect. These were Batman's top 5 villains. He's bragging to the other 4. You can you know, you can see enough of Batman to know what he's ripping. So, yeah, this is. I love the Joker logo on top of the head coming out of the O. This is for having no background to speak of. It's very minimal. That works. You don't want any more than that on this cover.
It looks like he just came around the corner and ripped the poster off.
How about you, LK?
Yeah, I went back and forth. Ultimately, I am going to give it a 10. I find it interesting to see Two-Face in basically a civilian outfit.
Yeah, he's not wearing his DA suit.
And I give him credit for showing restraint with the word bubbles and the words in there. So that's why I give it a 10.
Okay, I'm giving it a 9 for a lot of the reasons you guys gave it a 10. It's a fun cover. It's like I said, it's not something we'll see today. I don't think you could do fun covers with Joker today. That's one of the bad things that brought the movie and going darker, The Dark Knight Returns. It's one of the bad things that they brought. You lost the clown prince of crime. You know, the Joker is now the worst murderer and the most evil and the most scary of all of Batman's villains. I think this is kind of like the last hurrah. I know there are a few issues there, but like you said, this is a 9, 10 if you've got the omnibus issue run of just fun Joker stories. You get a couple more, but ultimately the Joker's lost.
Well,
this Joker is anyway.
This was after he'd returned to being a homicidal maniac, but in order to give him his own title, they had to basically bring back the Silver Age version.
Right. All righty. So, anywho, yeah, but no, even the 5 Ways Joker, even Joker Fish, is not as dark as Joker would become.
No. After
Dark Knight. Yeah, I'm giving this one a 9 as well. And let's see what the chat is saying about the Joker #1. First of all, this stream is about to get yeeted. That's Rhaegar. Newer people in the chat are like, "What am I watching?" I say that every time I come here, says Jackson. You know what? I can answer that. I can actually answer that question. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching me and Eric Breen star in Brokeback Mountain. That's disturbing. I can't. That's the one I wonder. What the fuck were you thinking, RDB?
Well, no. The reason I was thinking is that the work life.
Alrighty. So
I wish I could quit you.
Quinter says 9. Great art, but the background is zilch.
Actually, Eric, weren't you going to say, I love you?
Oh, hello. Okay, so the great art, but the background is zilch. In case it's 10, for sure, just wondering what's up with Catwoman's outfit. I don't recall that one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure DC, which is nobody would. But it'll show up. It'll show up in a Catwoman comic book where she's using it as S&M gear. Dark Admiral gives it a 10 as well. We have an 8 from Ethereal and a 6. The drawings are flat, not well composed, says
I want
Austin
the sequel to Brokeback Mountain with Penelope Cruz and Selma Hayek.
A 7 from Eric and Boyd. And then we have, I take it back, the drawing is flat. The Joker is flat. Everybody else is fine. It's a solid 8 from Dark Admiral.
I never noticed his pants tucked under his boot.
Oh yeah, it's like he's got stirrups.
Yeah.
And Jackson Raykirk agrees, giving it an 8. All right. And then we have let's see, these are 3 big villains in the logo Batman in the Lego Batman game I played as a kid. One of the only Lego games I 100%ed. Dan Alvin is saying 7, 0 background details beyond generic floor paneling. Lettering on top with word balloon seems stunted. Alrighty. And then let's see, that is a 7. And we get a 10 from Rhaegar saying Joker creeping around the corner like Pennywise, scaring the shit out of everyone is hilarious. Glenzer says, if a variant used an action scene and or word balloons, I think it would sell incredibly well, my 2 cents. Now Dark Admiral is really going to have a nightmare. Joker Fish, Gefilte Fish. I agree. lot of people don't remember, but Black Cat's outfit changed greatly over time. There you go. All
Not
right.
really. I've always worn mostly blacks. I just switched jeans to cargo shorts after high school. That's the only change in my outfits.
And I agree with I thought I read off yours. The Joker won. Love the trade dress. More focus should be on the Joker. Good concept though. Score is a solid 9, says Maranya. Alrighty. Cool.
Rager
And for people asking about whether or not the Catwoman costume was forgotten or not, I sent you something in the Twitter DMs.
And yes, Rhaegar, I got your 10. I did get your 10.
Surprisingly not, there are some variants that are actually throwback covers that are nice. Bloodhound throwback variants have been good. You go to the book called The Agent, which was a independent book, was doing like was a Steranko covers based off the Shield. So there are some variants out there that are nice.
Yeah.
Did you skip Maranya again?
No, yeah, but I read it off. I got her score.
Okay.
Alrighty. So let us see where we stand here. We have the low score was a 6, and we have let's see, 5 6 10s. We have 5 9s, 3 8s, and then we have 2 7s, and it looks like we get the 5, we get the hits. This is a 9. Alrighty.
I like the purple which she had in the 90s with Joe Duffy and Jim Beland. That's the best.
Yep. Alrighty, and let me get this covered down, and then we will get to the next one. Alrighty. Okay, where is it? Here it is. Okay, go past all the silliness. What did I do with my overlays? Here they are. Next up, RDV got the last one, right?
I believe so.
So
I got the Joker one.
Okay. RDV, you start us off on the Shadow.
Wow. Well, the good news is that he's practicing gun safety, unlike the actor.
No, actually he's not, because he's got both his fingers on the trigger. So
it's the Shadow. He's ready to shoot somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, where Alec Baldwin was ready to shoot someone too, right? Honestly, this is great, and I'll tell you why. Because, as my pa has taught me over the years, you want to have the menacing person just towering over the city. It's always great to see that. I don't care for the first DC issue bubble. We already have 2 other bubbles out there. There's just too many freaking bubbles, so I got to drop it down to a 9.
Okay. All right. And Eric, what do you say?
At least this had been published in other places, so it's not as out of place as the Man Bat.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't detract from me. This is an absolute 10.
Like
I said, I love the oversized, the looming over the city, and the city's drawn well. The train barreling down. This is a really, really good cover.
Yeah. All righty. LK, what do you say?
I'm giving this a 10 too. This is a proper pulp homage, basically. And yeah, I love it for a lot of the same reasons that Eric said.
Okay. Evil Black Cat?
It is a 9 for me.
Okie dokie. Alrighty. This is a very good example of why we do this. Okay. I've had this cover in the auction 3 or 4 times already. This is one of those books I'll always pick up because I know somebody's always going to buy it, but I never really looked at it. And that's why I love doing these, because this is the first time I've actually noticed that sign says Revelous or whatever. Okay. Point being is there's words there. I never noticed. You mentioned the city. Never really looked. I saw the cover, but I never really looked at the cover, and that's what we're supposed to do. It's Revelos is what it's a Revealus. But point being is, I love the fact that we're doing this. I like the detail on the on the city. I love the graffiti going down the wall of one building right by that sign. I like the way the windows light up, even though they're on a bit of a lean. The entire city is on a lean towards him. It's almost like because he's looming over the city. He is going to cover it. It's almost like the city is falling into him for him to be its protector. There's a lot actually going on to this. I really do dig this cover. It is absolutely a 10. All righty. But let's see what the chat says. Are they going to bring our 10s and 9s down? Ethereal's going to try. He's giving this a 7. And Glinzer says 9. I'm in Catwoman. I'm tired and don't have all my mental. Oh, from the because he said Black Cat. Yep. Let's see. 9 from Glinzer. Alrighty. And then we have a 9 from Eric and Boyd. A 9 from Dark Admiral. A 10 from Jackson Raykirk. Let's see. I appreciate RDV's comment. Looking at the Shadow's nose, Adrian Brody is the Shadow. They even did that with Alec Baldwin. When he became the Shadow, the nose changed. The Shadow number 1 says, Maranya, love the looming hero over the scenery. Excellent detail, trade dress, color reflected in the scarf. Without a shadow of a doubt, this is a solid 10. All right, it's all good, Austin. I thought I had missed one of Black Cat's costumes because I'm not that into her. All right. Revelry, is that what it says? It says, I can't quite read them. My eyes aren't that good. I'm getting new glasses next week. First 10 of the night for Dan Alvin. All righty. Let's see. Rebellious. Very close to 10 for me, says Eric. I've been to Paradise, but I've never seen this cover, says Jackson Raker. A 10 from MK. Looks badass. Also, a question for you and Eric. Wasn't Shadow originally another publisher and one of the inspirations for Batman? Shadow had been under the banner of a lot of publishers before. It's kind of the same as the Green Hornet. I'm trying to remember. Was he a king?
No, this actually...
The king was Phantom.
Yeah, this is actually the first comic book adaptation of him.
So I'm thinking of the pulps then.
Yeah, because there was a Shadow published by Archie, but it was in name only.
Okay, so yeah, I'm thinking of the pulps, but there you go. DC first comic book adaptation. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, at the same time, 10:30 p.m., we're going to be doing the first issues of a lot of Bronze Age Marvel. So join us for that, and you'll also see another pulp hero that got his first comic book adaptation in the 1970s, and that's Conan. It will be one of the covers that we'll be talking about. Alrighty. I do have to ask, though, is that the back of a VHS tape by the Shadow's left gun? It does look that way, but no, it's a bust awning. Yeah. 10 says, Rhaegar looks like an icon. That's iconic. Gala call it a night. Have a good one, says Dark Admiral. Have a good one, dude. We only got one cover left. Let's see. LOL, I see what she did there. The city seems empty, and DC He-Man win. Yeah, that would be if we do the...
That's the boarding platform. That's the lights hanging above the little
line. All righty, kids. This is where we stand with this, and this is going to be another 10. I'm just going to say straight up.
If you stand, I'm going to continue sitting.
Because we have 1-7, which would bring down 2 notes. We've got 5 9s, but that still leaves 3 10s. So there we go. The Shadow, ladies and gentlemen, goes with Ghosts into the Super Awesome. And I guess I start us off on this one. I threw this in because I wanted a Sword and Sorcery. This is Mike Grell. And one other thing, I was like, wow, I want to throw in a cover that may have people talking a little bit, more, not just, oh, wow, that's cool. And maybe even one that may be seen as not great. I give this one a 7. I think it's a good cover. I think it's a busy cover. I think it's like the Warlord. Oh, good. He's kind of lost in the shuffle here. If you brought it forward and had on the lower part of the cover, you had a few soldiers showing that he was being outnumbered. But the way it is, I've seen better Mike Grell covers. I've seen better Warlord covers. As a matter of fact, just go a couple of issues in and you got better. I'm giving this one a 7. It's good. It's just not great. Eric, what do you think?
I'm going to say an 8. Again, even though he's not front and center per se on the cover, this was only a couple months after his tryout issue of first issue special, which was a pinup cover. So we knew who he was. And, you know, this is a nice action sequence. I guess the guy just got stabbed in the face.
Or he saw E.
And you can see, yeah, it's my eyes. And you can see Tara fighting alongside him. So this, an 8.
All righty. And LK, what do you say?
I'm going 6 on this, and maybe it's the scan, but it's too black. It should have been more of a lighter tone. I understand they're inside a cave and all that stuff, but you know, as well too, the characters are drawn well, but the composition isn't right. You know, all you had to do was get rid of the guy holding his eyes and move the two main characters up front, and it's a disservice to the way that Tara there is positioned.
Okay. Evil Black Cat?
I give this a 5.
Okie dokie.
Basically, if you like, I'm sitting away a little bit, I cannot make out any of the details to Warlord's face, and he's supposed to be the main character. Like, his hair, his face, and his beard just matches up, and it looks like you can't tell like he has a beard unless you go close up. So,
alrighty.
Yeah.
RDV.
Is that Oliver Queen lost on an island?
Yeah.
That's the other running gag that used to be in the 70s was Oliver Queen and Warlord used to look the same. I think they had a crossover in one of the Detective Comics backups where they actually addressed that.
I guess he took it to heart that he doesn't need to wear pants. He's just going to wear some briefs. But anyway, I gotta agree with Black Cat. It's a 5.
Alrighty.
I want someone to add "Darkness is Coming" in the background.
Darkness is coming. I don't think Darkness has ever participated in these. That being said, I guess it's my turn. And oh no, I started us off. We've got our 5, right? Okay, so cool. Let's go to the chat. Glenzer gives it a 9. Alrighty, and Austin is giving it a 7. The only thing holding it back is the main character. He's in a very flat position.
Is he on the ground there? Which one is he?
And he's the one in black. Yeah. Then Eric and Boyd gives it a 7, and Ethereal Dragon gives it an 8. He looks like he's going sideways when he should be going backwards. And then Warlord number 1 says, Maranya, great Grell art, but feels like a repurposed panel, not a dramatic cover. Warlord should be the focus and less people he's fighting. Despite the flaws, it is a solid 8. Alrighty. I'll go 7-ish, says MK. That black space could use some blurbs. Old School Sword Fantasy cover, says Rhaegar. It gets an 8. Alrighty. 6. He should have been centered, says Jackson. Alrighty. All of Grell's faces look the same. Dan Alvin says 5. Warlord's limbs are all 4 wrong, and the Dark Cave effect gets lost with all the figures front-loaded into the foreground. Love the trade dress, though. Alrighty, and we get a 5. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the last cover of the night. And where we stand with this one, we ended up getting 3 5s and 1 9. Those were the extreme sides. In the middle, though, we go with 2 of the 2 8 or 4 8, excuse me, and then 4 7s, and that's where the Warlord ends up in the 7 category, ladies and gentlemen. So not the super awesomes. Whoops.
Thanks for the super chat, Glinzer, saying honorable mention. DC Comics presents number 1.
Completely forgot about that.
Well, I didn't. It's just that we were only doing 12, and we actually ended up doing 15. The thing is with DC and I'm sure Marvel, we can do multiples of these. Just like every title. We can go back to GI Combat, do more of that. We could go back
I forgot to even mention it, though. And I
But
like team-up books.
thank you very much. We will put that on the list and into the next time we go and do this. But there are, if we're doing number ones again, there is the 50s, there's the 60s, there's 80s, there's 90s, there's even 2000s. But unfortunately, they stopped making comic books after that, and so we can't do anything above 2012 when they stopped making comics. Yeah, sad time. But with that said, let's take a look at where we ended up. I don't know what is with the blank square where all the pictures ended up being. Why can't I get rid of that? Maybe if I supersized. All right. And where we ended up here, the only bad cover, the lowest score was OMAC number 1. That's obviously the worst because it is 2 or 3 levels down from the next worst. And then we have our 7s, which included Man-Bat, Supervillain, Secret Society, Supervillains, and Warlord. And for as bad as I thought Warlord was, personally, I would put Man-Bat at the bottom. Anybody else, anybody disagree? Just tell me while I'm doing this list here. On the very goods, the next level up, we had Black Lightning, the Forbidden Mansion, the Firestorm, and the Supergirl. Putting them all next to each other, Firestorm is the one that really stands out. And as much as I love that freaking cover, I would go this direction. But if you got, once again, if you disagree, just let me know.
I would dump that one all the way to the back, but that's just me.
Okay, how about anybody else?
Well, you have no romance in your soul, LK.
That's true. I don't love
Okay,
anybody.
so I'll tell you what. I'll compromise. I'll leave it where it is. Okay, and let's see. On the 9s, we had Jonah Hex, Commandy, and these are the awesome covers. Jonah Hex, Commandy, the Joker, Mr. Miracle, and Swamp Thing. What would you put as the number 1 there, LK?
Well, the first 2 should be the Joker and Mr. Miracle.
All right. How about you, Eric?
Let's see. Based on what I picked, I would say the same because I gave those 2 and Commandy 10s. So that's
okay. How about
thing? So yeah.
How about you, RDV? Which one would you put at the top here?
Oh, and the 9s? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, they're all together. I would put Swamp Thing in the front, and then I'd put Commandy all the way at the back. But Miracle and Swamp Thing probably be in the front.
Okay, so that's
and Joker.
Mr. Miracle has gotten enough votes. We'll move that to the front. Which also I would too. I'd put Mr. Miracle, and I would agree with.
I mean, I'm not biased or anything at all.
Yeah, I would agree with Eric on the Commandy. Evil Black Cat, what do you say?
Joker, Joker, Joker.
You know her.
Alrighty, and let's see. Yeah, I think everybody attacked this excitedly, so that would go in the second place there. So Swamp Thing below Jonah Hex. We good? Alrighty. Ghost versus Shadow, LK.
Oh,
rough call, huh?
I'd probably leave them the way they are.
Okay, Eric.
I would have Shadow first because I think that's my favorite overall cover that we did.
All right, Black Cat, Ghost versus Shadow.
Shadow first.
Okay. RDV.
Ghost first. I see Shadow everywhere.
Oh, you guys, seriously, you're leaving it up to me? Oh, goodness. Sorry, Eric. I'm going to have to keep the Ghost right here.
I gave him both 10s. I'm good.
Yeah. So there we go. Our top 15, ladies and gentlemen, was OMAC, One Man Army Corps. Man-Bat at 14. 13 is Warlord. 12 is Supervillains. 11 is Supergirl. 10 is the Dark Mansion Forbidden Love. 9, Black Lightning. 8 is Firestorm. 7 is Swamp Thing. 6, Jonah Hex. 5, Commandy. 4 is Joker. 3 is Mr. Miracle. 2 is the Shadow. And the best of the 70s this time around is Ghosts.
You pissed off Maranya, apparently.
Oh, yeah. sorry, Maranya. But there you are. It's a fun. It's fun. I still like doing these. These are a lot of fun. No, the Shadow should be the #1 of the 10s. No, fix it the way I said. Jonah 1, Commander 10. Maranya, get on the panel.
There's always that Shadow always popping over the wall in my shops. It seems like people just keep getting into that book.
Yeah. Like I said, I'll always pick it up as much. I like Swampy and the Joker as 1 and 2 and 3. And my favorite Kirby Bronze Age #1 is the Demon. We almost had that on the list, but we realized there were a couple of genres that weren't represented, and we had a lot of Kirby to start off. We figured that could be on one of the next ones.
No Demon, no Dr. Fate. You're going to get an earful from Dalton the next time you see him.
Yeah, probably so. Well, we could say we were saving that for when he's on the panel.
Wait, what's new though?
I know, right? Would love to pick up with Spider-Man where we left off, says Dan Alvin. Well, we're going to get back to him. We do have a lot of stuff to cover, and that's one of the things I love about this is that this video series is eternal. We just got tons of stuff to go. Jackson Raykirk is saying bronze goodness night, folks. That being said, once again, tomorrow 10:30 we are doing the Bronze Age Marvel, and then on Thursday it is All-Star Comics starring the JSA, so you don't want to miss that either. And I did not put a poll up, so remind me tomorrow. I have to put a poll up for the Fridays, or I'll just use channel owner privilege and throw something silly and fun up there. That being said, thank you very much for hanging out with us. What do you got going on tomorrow? You might want to promote their RDV.
Well, we're doing some offline readings, so
so it'll be premieres and such.
And then graphic. Well, no, nothing's premiering on the channel. Whatever. This is offline recording.
Okay. All right.
Graphic Man's gonna be live though.
Okay, so are you going to be with the 4-color fossils there?
No. Graphic has Iggy Pop and Easy Comic Reader tomorrow night.
And then
wait, Iggy Pop is in Iggy Pop? Iggy Pop?
Iggy Pop.
Iggy Pop. Okay. I was like, holy shit.
If you haven't seen any of his videos, pop one on. He is the most entertaining guy that's come down the pike in a long time.
All righty.
You'll Carter's on after that too.
Okay. Well, once again, guys, thank you very much for hanging out with us. Don't forget to do all the liking and sharing. Share this video. I noticed I think we hit a peak for this video with 20 viewers. This whole series has taken some time to grow, and I'm glad it's going in the right direction. So please share this out, and hopefully we'll get more people in, more people voting. And as always, thank you to everybody on the panel for joining in, and thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good night.
Good night, kids.